Greetings, Louvre Museum, Paris, France. You have different texts, and we will go through them. Literary texts. Now, this one here is from the Ptolemaic era, during the reign of Ptolemy IV, Philometor, between 180 and 145 BCE, from Memphis. Is cursive demotic writing. This text is a series of precepts in order to ensure a life conduct that is impeccable in private life as well as in public life. You have the reference there, and look at the cursive demotic. Okay. Now this one here, it's interesting because you have a name that you have heard of before. It says fragments of the wisdom, hold on, yes, fragment of the wisdom of Ani, between 1300 to 1000 BC. Here you have the reference. Ani, I wonder if it's the same name or as the Ani, the papyrus of Ani that is in the British Museum. That is probably the most famous papyri because it contains the Peret and Heru, or what they have called the Book of the Dead. Now this also is very interesting here, and we have addressed that not long ago. But this is a tale of the Battle of Kadesh, and it is the Pentateuch poem around 1200 BCE, and it says that the Battle of Kadesh was a coalition of the Hittites, a coalition reunited by the Hittites against the army of Ramesses II in the 5th year of the king, 1275 BCE. Largely diffused, or let's say largely broadcasted by Ramesses II for propaganda purposes, this tale, this story, was still copied after his death. I don't know what that name stands for, but that's an individual's name. And here you have the reference. Now here, this is some glyph that you can distinguish. But I wonder why I can't see the description. This says that it was taken away, but maybe they forgot to put the original description. But here you can definitely distinguish the glyphs. It's just cursive, but this is the traditional glyph in a more cursive form. It is similar on the papyrus of Ani. Now here you have some demotic / hieratic. Here you have a fragment of the sarcophagus text. Very small fragmentation. Now this is between 2700 to 1700 BC. And we are told that the sarcophagus texts are some formulas, some magical religious formulas used in the Middle Kingdom to ensure survival of the deceased. They are written in hieratic, a simplified form of hieroglyphs. Their vertical disposition is characteristic of all periods, ancient and Middle Kingdom. This manuscript belongs to a certain Merer. So probably that Mer will be the root word for love or beloved. Now here, it's much later, 1st century BC. Rituals of glorification of Osiris and opening of the mouth. The opening of the mouth, that comes quite regularly in ancient Egypt. 3 texts in the names of 3 different persons. Okay, I understand now. Well, I don't know. But, oh yes, there's 3. Yes, there's 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. See the Ujat here. Now here we have a medical text. We have all sorts. 18th dynasty medical text between 1500 to 1200 BCE. This is a partial translation. Another perfect remedy. Now I don't know how to use all those to translate all those words, but this is honey. This is fat. This is pereceni fruit. Peas. I don't know what oliban is, but they said that it must be dry. And we are told you should do a bandage with it 4 days in a row. And the translation is after T. Bardine. You have the reference there. Here. I guess the easiest thing to distinguish with the Demotic/hieratic is the bird here. But this is a letter of request from Hai or Kai to the governor of Elephantine around 1100 BCE. This is a report from the auditor called Imen M. Wia. We have a boat in the British Museum, and it's the boat of Mut M. Wia. So Mut means mother, M means of, Wia. Here we have Imen, as in Amun or Amen, and then M, and then Wia. So we have 3 different words here. Here, this is accounting related to a delivery of cereals between 1400 to 1300 BCE, 18th dynasty. And it says a papyrus is expensive. Sometimes it is washed in order to be reutilized, like the right column there. So I've learned something. I didn't know that. I didn't know that they were basically recycling. Now that's very interesting here. You see this one here? Look at the date. Around 2400 BCE. This is 4,000 years old, 5th dynasty. This is a table of inventory of a temple of the 5th dynasty from Abusir, funerary temple of Neferi Kare Kakai. It's an inventory, a detailed inventory of vases belonging to the material for the cult of the temple, and so on. So you have the reference. So here you have it. I went over all those that you can see there.